Hey, what's going on, coaches? Coach Eric here, coachestrainingroom.com. I hope you're doing awesome this Monday. I know there's been a lot of health scares going on in the world, so I hope all is well with you and your family as we take note on what's going on in the world and be aware. It is important to be aware and knowledgeable of everything going on and staying healthy and knowing what to do, what not to do. And we appreciate you being a part of Coach's Training Room and being here live. I'm just going to pull up my screens here, make sure all is well here on our stream. Awesome. There we go. Let me make sure we got, okay, cool. How you coaches doing today? My name's Coach Eric. I'm the co-owner of Coach's Training Room along with Coach Mark, who will be joining us in a little bit here. He lives in England and I'm here in the United States. I do individual player training, group player training. Love it. It's my passion. I just get so filled up. And I partnered up on Coach's Training Room about 8 years ago and been loving it ever since. Love helping out other coaches reach their full potential as a coach, and then also influencing their players and just being able to help out and grow clubs, helping the coaches train their teams, giving them done for you session plans that you can adapt and progress to fit your own coaching style, make them more difficult or use as is, or gain ideas from and tweak here and there to make beneficial for your teams. So let me go ahead and good. We're on here live. Go ahead and post where you're from, how you're doing today, and I hope you're having a great start to the week as it's Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm here in my sunroom area, just relaxing here. It's getting warmer finally here in Michigan. And you can see we have the little, my hammock chair in the back, really relaxing there. I was using that quite a bit today. How are you coaches doing? Throw some hearts, some love, comment where you're from and how you're doing today, what age group you coach. We got a lot of you joining us on the stream. So happy you're here. I just wanted to come on and open this up on the page. Perfect. And any questions you can post in the comments, of course. We got Fernando, Coach Fernando from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Welcome. There we go. Perfect. Just posted up that today's live is on ideas for managing players' behavior. Now, the reason we picked that is because there's been so many coaches having issues with player behavior on and off the field, okay, because we know that even off the field, it affects, can the player play in the game, all right, especially high school, right? If their behavior off the field isn't good, it's going to affect their even being able to play in games, especially in high school, middle school as well. So player behavior, we're going to cover that today when Coach Mark joins us. And I wanted to touch on another thing we're getting questions on a lot, coaches, is attention span, keeping players' attention span during practices, during our sessions, right? Because we're at an instant culture. So instantly we can get whatever we want on our phone, instantly get it on even our watches now with the iPhone watch, iWatch and all that. So there's so many distractions happening and our attention spans are like this, right? Especially with the kids that grew up right from the get-go with an iPad in their hand and they're playing games on the iPad. So how do we keep players' attention span and how do we keep them engaged all session long? That is something we're going to cover as well, coaches. So glad you joined us. Please put in the comments where you're from, where you're watching this from, what age you coach, and just say hi. Okay, we're glad you're here. And like I said, we're going to be covering ideas for managing players' behavior. Now, on the attention span side, especially if you're coaching younger players, so I'm talking like U12 and under, a great thing to do is, if a lot of them, usually happens with one player, right? During our sessions, it happens with one troubled player that usually is causing distraction or chit chat, getting their mouth going about something else, and or running off, not paying attention, and they're causing others to trail off and not stay focused. So one thing to do, if that starts happening during your sessions where there's a lot of communication between the kids, they're not paying attention, they're talking about school, they're talking about, if they're guys, they're talking about girls, girls are talking about guys, of course, who's dating who, that, girls especially chit chat a lot more than guys do. So one trick that I've learned is to just immediately say, just get it loud. Obviously the more players you have, louder you got to be, but you got to say, everybody hands up, everybody put their hands up, everybody hands up immediately. So they all put their hands straight up in the air. Everybody's quiet. So they have to, it's basically like Simon says, they got to do what you got to do, what you do. So everybody puts their hands up as high as you can, especially with little kids. This works really well. Try to touch the sky. You can say, if you have the little kids, touch the sky, touch the sky. So then you got everybody's attention back on you. That's something easy to do. Focus here, and then they're back in focus with you. Now you can go a little bit longer if there's still some kids not doing what you're doing. You can keep going with touch your toes, all right, touch your knees, and just give them direction, so then everybody's focused back on you. Now, another thing you can do if you have older players is obviously give them sprints to do. If they don't start paying attention, that usually works pretty well. So give them some laps, some sprints that they're going to do if they're not starting to pay attention. All right. So again, coaches, I hope that helps out. That's just a real simple thing to grab their attention quick, is to give an immediate direction. Put your hands up, something totally opposite of what you're teaching, just something out of the blue, like raise your hands up as high as you can, get their attention back on you. And then as soon as everybody's looking at you, everybody's doing what you're doing, then you can get back to the session. You grabbed everybody's attention. Now, if that happens over and over again, just repeat, do it again. Come up with some other quick things to do to grab all the eyes back on you. All right. Especially now, like I said, with attention spans being like a second long, just a minute. You can hardly hold these kids' attention span for a minute or two, especially the younger they are, right? So who agrees with me? Go ahead and put it in the comments below, that the kids' attention spans are short. We have to come up with these strategies to get their attention back on quickly. Okay, sound good? Post in the comments below. Let us know that you're here. Coach Mark will be joining in a little bit. I'm just coming on here now to give some tips, some strategies to keep focused and engaged, keep your players focused and engaged, so you can teach them what you need. Make sure you cover everything in your sessions and not waste any time. Now, another tip too is to make sure you're keeping fun in the sessions. All right, make sure you're mixing games, keep away games, World Cup, right? The World Cup game. Keeping those games mixed in with your sessions, with your specific trainings, mix in those games. Okay, if they have a little bit of fun, they get out their energy, you create some competition, then you pull them over after that game's done, pull them into a session that you're going to need their full attention. All right, and that's what you do next. Okay, so that's another thing. Make sure you're mixing in the games, especially with the little kids, 12 and under. Make sure you're mixing in those games. The younger they are, the more games you need. All right, the more fun games that you're going to need in your sessions, keep that attention span. And the kids at the younger age are learning more from games at that age, or at the younger ages. You're going to need to do more and more games. As they get older, less games, but make sure you're still mixing games into your sessions. All right, coaches, let me know that you're here. Share your name, where you're from, what age group you coach, and throw some likes, some thumbs up, some hearts, and let us know that you're here. Share this video. Okay, start a watch party because we're going to be sharing some great tips here as we go along. I hope you got some good ones already. Just some simple things. We want to go back to the basics because especially the attention span. And then when Coach Mark comes on, we're going to cover ideas for managing players' behavior. All right. So coaches, we love that you're here. Any questions, just please post in the comments there. We do review all questions. We might not get to them on the lives, but go ahead and post it in the comments as we do read those and we'll get back to you. If not on the live, we'll get to them outside of the live session here. All right. So another thing make sure obviously that you have the right equipment during your sessions. Okay, you have your cones, your disc cones. Flat rubber markers are great for turf or enough balls. All right, players. Make sure you have your ball pump. Okay, especially for new coaches, you might not know everything that you need. So make sure you keep everything in the bag. I keep it right in my car so I don't forget. I don't even bring it in and out. I make sure everything's in there. Also bring extra pair of socks, shin guards. Make sure that you have all these double sets of them just in case, because your players are going to forget their shin guards one day, so you'll have an extra pair. They're going to forget their socks one day, so you can have an extra pair of socks that you use. All right, so that's very important. Make sure you're prepared and prepped each and every session, and then make sure you have enough bibs and pennies. You're going to have equal amount of each color. At least recommend 6 and 6, so 12 total pennies. So make sure you have all the equipment you need. One other thing is make sure, a lot of you make sure that you have your just a spare. Let's see, so spare pug goal. I use pug goals quite a bit. So making sure you have pug goals, you easily set up practices. If there's all the fields are being taken for some reason, you can easily set up another field with your pug goals. All right, so that's important too. Make sure you're prepared for any situation that can happen. All right, you can set up your own field outside of the other ones if for some reason the field's unusable, used by another team right that second. Okay. All right, cool. How you coaches doing? Share where you're from, what your name is, what team you coach, and we'd love to hear from you if you've been enjoying these lives, been enjoying the content that we've been sharing. We would love to hear from you. Post in the comments below. Got a lot of coaches joining us, and we appreciate your feedback. Also, if there's something that you feel that you want to see on the live taught, okay, if you'd like to see more sessions or specific training, maybe you want more on keeping players' attention than we covered today, then go ahead and post it in the comments. We'll make sure to get to that as well. So post in the comments below. We do record these and archive these videos for the future, but it is important to be on live as much as possible. So obviously get your question asked and answered either here on the live or afterwards. All right. So just to recap a bit, the mixing in games is important, especially at younger ages. Almost your whole session at younger ages are games to keep them engaged in the sessions. Like I said, about U12 and under, you want to make sure you mix in games as much as possible into your trainings. All right. Split them into 2 groups. Make sure you're running competitions, because kids at that age love doing races and games and competitions, even at the older age, but especially at the littler age, you want to mix in competition, have first and second place winners. So they're trying as hard as they can. And it's all around fun. It's about teamwork keeping them engaged and learning the skills through games. All right. So we appreciate you coaches posting your comments live, sharing this video on your coaching page or your personal page, personal Facebook page, liking it, and making sure you're clicking subscribe so you're notified when we do these lives in the near future. All right. So any coaches, go ahead and post questions in the sidebar here. And like I said, we'll get to them either live or after the sessions. So through Coach's Training Room, what we've really been focusing on are what we've been hearing from you coaches, are session plans that are scaled out, full session plans all on one sheet from start to finish. So from warm up all the way through to small sided game, the typical session plan will have 4 activities on one document. So we have this inside of our Soccer Coaches University programs, which has been one of our top, best, and most talked about programs that we have to date. And it's called Soccer Coaches University. So those are very detailed sessions, all on one sheet, electronic through video, downloadable PDF, text instructions, and full walkthroughs by Coach Mark as well. So we have those walkthroughs as well. And that walkthrough is by Coach Mark, who goes through each activity throughout the full session in specific detail. Walks right through how to set it up, how to run the program, the progressions, and the coaching points. So it's perfect for if you're a new coach or an experienced coach to utilize. You have full access to it. Watch the video, rewind it, take notes, and then print out the session plan or save it to your iPad, iPhone, laptop, desktop, and you can review it electronically as well. And you can even bring your iPad or iPhone to the field and watch the video session plans right on there. Now, this is so important because within Soccer Coaches University, we have different topics. So if the topic is on attacking, right, or finishing, shooting and finishing, we're going to have a specific session plan that's from warm up all the way through to small sided game that has the progressions in there in each activity to help with your team specifically on finishing. So it'll be very topic oriented and teaching on that specifically. So you can nail it down exactly what you need to do to help your teams get to the next level in that specific area. In this example, it's finishing. All right. And just so you know, we're going to go a little bit longer than normal because I'm teaching the first part and then Coach Mark is going to come on and teach the second part once he comes on here. And we're going to cover the topic of ideas for managing players' behavior. So thanks for sticking with us here and being live, and hope you've been enjoying this so far. We love the hearts, the loves, thumbs up. Please post in the comments where you're from. I might not be seeing all of the comments that are coming through. I know sometimes it lags a bit and it's a little bit behind. So if I don't see your comment right away, that's why as well. So coaches, we appreciate you joining us and we appreciate you're part of the community. We hope you've been liking the session plans, the positive coaching affirmations that we post out there, the quotes and the PDF downloads. Because basically what Mark and I created Coach's Training Room for is to help as many coaches as possible do done-for-you session plans that you can take and print out and adapt to your own coaching style. Take them as is, try them out, and then adapt them based off of how your team does with them. That's the basics of it. So you're going to save time. You're going to save money because you don't have to pay and fly somewhere to learn. You can learn right here online from Coach's Training Room members portal. And we have free sessions and free PDF downloads in addition to our paid areas within the portal. Okay, which basically you're going to get that in-depth personalized training and in-depth walkthrough videos. Okay, makes sense. Okay, go ahead, post your comments below or questions that you have, and we'll make sure and review them below. Now, I know something else that coaches have been asking about is physical play. Okay, how do I teach my kids physical play, especially at that younger age? Like, let's just say again, U12 and below. How do I teach that the physical play? Now, let's go through just a specific activity that you can set up quickly. I'm not going to go into super detail, but set up 4 cones in a square. All right, about let's say 5 by 5, 5 feet by 5 feet, and you have 2 players. They start on each cone, opposite sides, and what you're going to do is one passes the ball to the other, and you're going to have the other person shield. Okay, use shielding skills and keep the ball inside the square. They can go anywhere inside the square, and the other player is trying to get the ball, recover the ball within the square. Now the person shielding with the ball has to stay in that square and use their weight and use their shielding position and be side on and keep their physical play, because that player is going to be pushing into them, coming around them every which way and trying to take that ball away. So that is the drill there that will help with the physical play. Just something that you can do. I didn't get into super detail, but it is a fun one that a lot of that I've personally used and see a lot of improvement just by letting it run, letting them do it how they do, and then pausing, coming in, and maybe they need to be more side on. That's a lot of what I'm teaching is if their backs to the defender trying to get the ball, then they need to be side on and have 1 foot on the ball and create that distance so that reach is far enough away so they can't get the ball. Hey, we got Coach Mark on. What's happening, Coach Mark?
What did I miss? Yeah, I'm pretty good. Apologies again. The time difference caught me out there. So
no, you're all good.
Fill me in.
Oh, it's all good. I went over a little bit since we've gotten a lot of questions on attention span, right? Keeping players' attention span. So I just went over a few simple ways to grab players' attention. I know older or younger players especially, so I just went over a couple tips on that. And then we went through what else did we go through? Oh, some of the physical, just that last thing I was touching on, a session for just some physical, how to improve physical play and how to shield away from opponents. And then what else did I cover? Yeah, that's, a couple other just little tips like that going over that from there. So
awesome.
How are you doing? You made it back. Good.
Yeah, made it back in good time. Like 10 minutes ago, I was sat on a train. Yeah, I got completely caught out with the time difference change. So we'll have to factor that in next week.
Oh yeah.
The clocks here don't change for another 3 weeks, I think. So
okay.
Yeah. Well, no, I was actually believe it or not, Raheem Sterling, the England player, was giving a talk in Manchester. So I'd gone last minute to go see him. So I got a couple photographs from that. Fully expected to be back in time, and then I'd get the notification that the clocks have changed. So. Yep. But yeah, that was a good experience. So again, just apologies. I'm a little behind.
Yeah, no problem. Let me make sure I'm hoping that your voice is I think it is good coming through as far as the recording. Can you coaches hear? Just give a thumbs up in the comments. I want to make sure you can hear Coach Mark. If not, I might have to make an adjustment here. So yeah, let's just make sure here. And then again, the topic today is ideas for managing your players' behavior. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure we can hear you, Mark. Make sure we can hear you. I mean, I can. I want to make sure it's It's good on the, everybody else can hear us. Can you coaches hear us? Put a thumbs up. Let me see. I think so. Yeah, I think we're good here. Let me see. Okay, yeah, we're good.
Looking good, yeah? Okay. Do you want me to dive straight in, Eric?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go for it. I mean, go ahead. I mean, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
Yeah, I can think all's working. Yeah, so again, thank you if you're joining us now. If you joined us at 5 o'clock, I can only apologize. The time difference caught me out. I am Coach Mark, and I'm the co-founder with Eric for Coaches Training Room. Again, our journey's taken us. It's been seven years now, just working with coaches, for coaches, just trying to make information more easily accessible, more easy to digest. The idea for the animation of the session plans going back 7 years was a fairly new concept at the time, and we were looking at ways for me when I was traveling quite a lot back into from the States. I was taking books and books of session plans around with me, and sometimes my own notes were really difficult to understand. So the idea was, could I make a catalog of something that was easy for me to understand as well? Because I know as much as anybody else that taking a brand new session to a field can be a daunting experience if it doesn't, if you don't fully understand how it's going to look, how your players going to be able to digest that information as well. So it was really making something that was easy to digest, easily accessible, and from there we've born other ideas from that. So we're excited to be working with you, and all we're looking to do from this point is create a community where people feel safe to ask questions, where we can share ideas, bounce ideas, and we any feedback is welcome, to know that we are heading in the right direction with that. So the topic for today is relatively broad in terms of managing player behavior. So just to touch on it, we'll have all experienced it at some point where there is at least one disruptive player within a group. And of course, that one disruptive player can, if not managed properly, can take time away from other players. And really, you only have potentially 90 minutes of learning time in your session for potentially for that week. If you're fortunate to have a couple of sessions, obviously, we could go into that, but ultimately, if you break it down, if you've got a player that is challenging behavior wise, it does have an effect on the enjoyment for yourself as a coach, for other players, and for that player as well. So the first point I'm going to make is to understand as a coach. Try and understand why a player is behaving in a certain way. There are a number of reasons why a player could be misbehaving during one session. We won't cover them all because there's you could get really deep with that. But the one that you can identify quite quickly is that player being challenged enough, because sometimes if the activities aren't pushing them enough, it might be that they are acting up because they aren't being challenged. Their attention span is moving to other places, and they need to be pushed a little bit harder. One potential. Ultimately, a number of other reasons. It could be an attention span thing, in which case you might need to shorten the coaching points. Energy levels could be higher to the point that they almost seem unmanageable, and sometimes it is about channeling the energy into something that is a productive output. So then we're going to move into challenging the behavior, and ultimately what we need to do here is not just discipline through whatever old-fashioned methods there may be, extra runs, laps, etc. I want to try and move away from that. So challenging and understanding. Once you get a grasp on why the player might be misbehaving, it's important to round back onto the perhaps a sense of belonging within the group. It might be that they're acting up because they're potentially not just plugging into the group that you've got. So challenging the behavior is one thing. Finding out their reasons for playing. It might be that they're just they're playing soccer because, and I'm sure we've experienced this as coaches as well, they're playing soccer because their parents want them to play soccer, not necessarily because they want to. So it's important to make sure that you're bringing out the enjoyment in that for them without being too much of a disciplinarian. So a couple of ways we can perhaps look at creating some ideas to give you a fighting chance and make sure that everybody is incorporated in this, because whilst we might be focusing on this one player and understanding this one player, you've got 11 other players, potentially more, depending on your age group, potentially less, who are losing out on that valuable coaching time. So we need to adapt, firstly. So a couple of methods that I would potentially look at using here, if I've got a player who has a really short attention span, and the moment that they've the attention span is gone, they're off, they're messing around and they're disrupting the other players. Can you create a situation where they might be helping you? So if I pull Eric to one side and say, okay, Eric, I need your help for 5 minutes now. You've been disrupting. I'm not gonna call him out for it, but okay, Eric's been disrupting the group. I need Eric's help. So, Eric, can you go grab me 6 soccer balls? I need them from over that side here. Can you help me? Okay, suddenly I've got a sense of purpose now as a player. It's a different task to what I've been focusing on prior to that. I wasn't that engaged in the game that we were playing, or I was engaged for 5 minutes, but now I'm losing my interest, and I'm going to start distracting someone else in the group. Can you collect those balls for me? Can you bring them over here? Great. Okay, that was great. That was really helpful. Thank you for doing that. Now, in 5 minutes, could you go and grab some of the cones for me after this activity is finished? Can you join in for right now, and then can you go collect the cones at the end? And then suddenly that's perhaps the next trigger. Okay, so I've got 5 more minutes of the game to play, but then I do have a job to do. And there is a situation where attention span may be that they forget to go away and do that, but a gentle reminder: I need your help here. Okay, I'm the coach, and I'm looking to you in this instance for your assistance. Now I've got a bit of a sense of purpose within what I'm doing. My job is necessary in this. I'm not being told off for my behavior. I'm now it's being channeled into a way that I can get on board with, and it is that sense of belonging. Now I'm needed, and I'm not a burden, because if you're being told off and reprimanded constantly, then there is no attempt to understand the behavior, and there's no reason why I would change my behavior as somebody who has perhaps been acting up in the last few sessions. If I'm just getting told off, I'll continue with that. It's getting no worse, it's getting no better. Whereas if I've now got a task to do, I quite like impressing the coach. I quite like helping out the group. So can you keep that going? So maybe the take home from that is, okay, you were brilliant today. Thank you so much for helping out. How about, and we can speak to parents as well. How about you, can you get mum and dad, can you get Eric to practice 5 minutes early next week, because I need Eric to help me set up the field. Okay. So now I've got the me being a necessary part of this group is going further than that now. And I've got a job to do next week. So suddenly I'm looking forward to practice. Okay. And can you keep that going? And it might be that other players pick up on that, and you might distribute jobs out to other players, because again, it's important that your players do get that sense of belonging as a group. So we're focusing on, okay, can you help me? Can I channel the energies? Can I channel the behaviors into something that's actually not only positive, but something that's adapted into something that will work going forward? And it's a longer term model, something you can address pre-season, but something that will encourage other players to want that particular role themselves. So now you can start to distribute these jobs amongst their peers. So Coach Eric, can you bring a can you bring a spare set of can you bring a spare soccer ball next week, just in case somebody forgets, because it's you might be able to give one to another player who's forgotten a soccer ball. And now you're creating that sense of belonging between players, and you're forming a bond here. So whilst the traditional methods might have been to challenge the behaviour more directly, or pair up a well-behaved player with a player who's not quite behaving as well, can you create a group that and it's a culture that you can develop where players will ultimately want to work for you, and you can lead by example in that, but also work for each other. And again, it could just be a case of channeling energy a lot of the time. So it's not always misbehaving. It's a misunderstanding sometimes as well. And it's maybe just important to and not every. So this is not a one size fits all. This is unique to every coach's situation. But sometimes it is important to perhaps look at it through the other end of the periscope there, just to see if you can kind of broaden your horizons, add something to your existing arsenal, just to see if that can help you. It's just one more avenue that you can, because again, like we said with the coaching side of things, there is no one direct route to any solution. There's a number of possible ways, and no one is more right or more wrong. It's just whatever suits your own particular situation. So it's important to take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt. You know your players better than I. Can you make it work in your particular setup?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you coaches have any specific questions on behavior, players' behavior, something that you've had an issue with or struggle in your specific practices, go ahead and share those with us in the comments. We'd love to hear that and try to help you out as much as possible, as far as behavior or attention, keeping attention span, and making sure your practices are running smoothly and on time and efficiently as possible. Obviously, yeah, because we know how hard it is just to get everybody there to the practices, and then to run them is a whole nother, make sure everybody's engaged, and running is a whole nother strategy as well. So we're here to help you. Share those in the comments, and we'll be looking at those now.
Yeah, and any questions, because ultimately I can give a really broad generic answer, but if you've got specifics, that's even better, because we can really sort of bore down into that. And it might be that we have coaches that come on who might not necessarily been able to make it on live, who have an answer that we haven't been exposed to as well. And again, when I go back to talking about the community and that safe environment to say certain things and take on board feedback, we appreciate that that coaching is it's an opinionated subject, and answers are very specific to people's circumstance. But again, it's just making sure that we all feel okay to share those ideas, those suggestions, because that is, again, it's how we learn.
Absolutely. Yep. So I don't see many questions as of now, Coach Mark, but if you're wrapping up a bit, or do you have a couple more, or do you wrapping up a bit? Because I'll go over a little of the benefits of that trial that we have.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was going to keep it short and sweet, and perhaps we'll get some questions on later that we can answer a little bit more specifically. But as far as the live stuff goes, that's kind of my summary for today, and I'll endeavour to be online at the definite start time next week.
Oh yeah, no problem. Worked out okay. We just extended a bit, and it's all good. And we know some of you can't watch the lives because it doesn't work time wise for you. So you can still, if you're watching this on the recording, you can still post your questions. We'll visit those. We'll get notified for the questions on that. They'll still stay there in the comments section. We'll visit those and reach out to you in regards to touching base and covering that for you. So don't be afraid to post those questions there. We're here for you, like I said. And Coach Mark has trained and coached and traveled around all around the world, helping other coaches with their teams, help them improve their overall club and organizations. So we're so glad that he could be here live every Monday. We're going to have from 5 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you can make it live, that's awesome. We appreciate it, and you can ask your questions here live, and there's the possibility we can directly answer those here live as well. Now, one thing I did want to cover, since we're going to wrap up this session, is our 14-day free trial of our very popular Soccer Coaches University program. And we've been getting such great feedback from coaches on this since it's launched, and we've had it active for a while now. We're getting testimonials from coaches that have said it's really helped improve their teams. It's something that's simple to follow. They're in the Soccer Coaches University members portal area, which is where you'll access all of your sessions. There's a full session walkthrough in there, and it covers all aspects from attacking, defending, dribbling. And what happens is every month we drip in new sessions, 2 full session plans every month in video format, in PDF downloadable format, so you can access it on any device connected to the internet. You can download it and send it to your assistant coach as well to help prepare for the session. And you also get the printable PDF, the tech instructions, how to set up, run, and coach through each and every activity in there. So check it out. We have a ton of bonuses as well. So right now we got that 14-day free trial of Soccer Coaches University going on. I'm going to put the link here in the comments just so you can get to it quickly. I'm going to pin it here so you can go and see all the details of the Soccer Coaches University program. We're very proud of it. We put a lot of time and effort into it each and every month to make sure we cater it to your needs as coaches. Okay, we get a lot of emails every single day, a lot of direct messages, and what we evaluate those and then cater the next month's training to those specific needs in those session plans. So for instance, if we get a lot of coaches requesting attacking, you know, my team's we're not winning games, we're not finishing goals, so we'll cater that next month's program or next month's session plan on attacking specifically, because that's what the community is asking for. So that's the type of program that we provide. It also has in there ways to reach out to us directly, is included in part of that program. So it's a 14-day free trial. Check it out, Soccer Coaches University. You can get to that at coachestrainingroom.com/trial. It's in the link pinned below there, and it's as easy as that. You can check out all the details there. All right, awesome. Well, next, I don't think we have the topic for next week quite yet, but we're going to discuss that. We're going to look at the comments. We do the same thing for these lives. Okay, they're quicker, shorter trainings, but we evaluate your questions, your emails, and we cater these to what we hear from you coaches in the community. So we kind of catered this towards the attention span because we were getting several coaches having issues with that. So we said, all right, we're gonna touch on that, try to help as much as possible on that specific topic. So we really appreciate you coaches. Any questions, like you said, put them in the comments. Coach Mark, you have anything else for the coaches today who joined us?
No, that's all. Just thank you again for joining us. Keep the questions coming, because that just that gives us more things to do, more answers to give, and ultimately, you know, the more we can talk about these topics, the more we'll learn as a collective. So, looking forward to any further questions. Again, as Eric's touched on there, anyone who's already in Soccer Coaches University, the likelihood is we've already had some dialogue through direct messaging. It's got my WhatsApp details there, and we can discuss all things soccer. It might not even be specific to your team. Some people just want some information, etc. And I'm happy to talk about soccer all day. So, but again, you know, the Facebook comments here. Let us know if you've got any questions, because we will round up on those, and we're looking forward to catching up with you all next week.
All right, coaches, see you next week, Monday, 5 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Again, that 14-day free trial link, if you want to check out Soccer Coaches University, is coachestrainingroom.com/trial. All right, we'll talk to you coaches soon. Take care. Bye now.
Bye.